quick video on absolute truth and subjective truth. Since this is a little bit of a controversial topic, I thought I'd share a little bit of light on each side of the party. Obviously, you can't have a subjective truth and an objective truth or an absolute truth, but you can have understanding of both sides of the party. So an objective or absolute truth is a truth that always exists at all times, all places. It is a fixed, unchangeable truth. Subjective truth is more about perspective, your reality, your opinion, or your feelings, which can change at any time. So people that are afraid of objective or absolute truth have a fear of basically a responsibility because they fear that they are going to make a mistake. Generally, they have grown up in a household or an environment or a family that did not let this individual express their opinions, feelings, or emotions in a healthy manner. And so they fear an all authoritative, like they view objective truth as a threat because it reminds them of an authoritative figure, or it makes them feel like they're going to be punished if they think something wrong. So they don't like to kind of rock the boat, so they like to sit in the middle to be safe. People that enjoy having more of objective truth or absolute truth, such as the earth is flat, the earth is not flat, there is a God, there is no God. What's another example? There are no round squares. Those are examples of absolute truths. So people that kind of gear towards that way of thinking are actually seeking a sense of security. They believe if they are able to kind of predict an all-knowing truth that they will feel more safer and therefore they will feel better. But our universe and our humanity and we as individuals are always growing into, are evolving. So nothing is ever stagnant. So basically people that are always trying to be right will always kind of run that rat race. So it's going to be really exhausting. So this kind of falls into the ideas between the two parties of religion or animal ethics, politics, possibly some people believe that like the earth is flat and how our earth was created, or those are kind of fall in the lines of objective truth, and it actually is, I feel that is really off-putting for people that aren't putting other people's perspective and they're into consideration, because they're not really understanding why they kind of fall into one way of thinking rather than the other. So it's causing a lot of conflict with people, and it's kind of like off-putting to both parties. And so personally, I feel like everything is always evolving, so there has to be room for improvement or more information. And I feel like people that have a fear of losing that security kind of unknowingly fall into this perspective of if they are the all-knowing, then no one can ever outsmart them. But really it's kind of humbling to know that you are wrong at some points in your life, because it allows you to have more growth in many things. And if you don't leave room for more and broader perspectives, then it's going to be really difficult for you to relate to other people, and you're going to feel really alone. This objective truth or absolute truth also falls into the lines of determinism, possibly fate, if we have responsibility for our life. And fundamentally, I believe that those are things that kind of are the basis of both belief parties. People that are afraid of taking responsibility and therefore fall into the lines of the gray matter, typically are afraid of taking responsibility because they are afraid of being punished. So if you would like to help someone out of the kindness of your heart and not out of obligation or necessarily to get them on your side, you have to understand their perspective. People that are afraid of going to one side or the other are afraid of being punished. They are typically kind of the worriers. Sometimes they fall into like the people pleasers. So I feel like people, if you would want to make an impact with people's lives, or want to influence people in the way that you feel is correct or is helpful, you have to be willing to let people be who they are, because not everyone is going to believe what you believe, and not everyone is going to come into an enlightenment, or everybody kind of comes into their life path that is right for them in their own timing, and you kind of have to be okay with that. And I feel like people that are really passionate about what they believe and want everyone to believe what they believe, it's kind of like an alcoholic who has been sober for a really long time, and they are really excited. They have reaped the benefits of being sober and being able to help other people, and they see other people that are still drinking, and they kind of have that like domineeringness about them, like you shouldn't be drinking because you're not going to get this and this. It's going to be off-putting for people, and it's going to, you have to let them live their life, and they're not, you have to be willing to be trustworthy, to be like, you know what, this person is trustworthy enough to make their own decision, and it's okay if they make a mistake, and you have to be willing to say, hey, they may not believe what I believe, and that's okay, and I still love them, you know. So I hope this was a little bit a more understanding perspective of both parties of absolute truth and subjective truth, and I really appreciate you guys listening, and have a beautiful day, guys.